The following program is rated G. It is suitable for all audiences.
To appreciate the country, the best way is to live in it and learn about its history and culture. Learning our own history is still and will always be irrelevant. The fact that we are true-blooded Filipinos, the fact that every generation was and will always be a product of history. We all know that Philippines was controlled by foreign colonizers for almost 300 years. Filipinos were forced to work in our own country without pay. This horrible occurrence furnish a big question. How does the Filipinos fight for their freedom and survive from the colonizers? This is me, Eloisa Ann Esler. Arrive with me and find out how Filipinos fight for their country.
After 1872, Philippines' condition went from bad to worse. The deportation of Filipino leaders to Spanish penal colonies, the persecution of the intellectuals, and the abuses of the Spanish masters continued unabated. As a result of anti-friar demonstration and manifesto of 1888, the powerful friars avenged themselves by persecuting the leaders and signers of the manifesto, having them arrested and thrown into prison. But in 1889, the Spanish Queen Regent issued an amnesty.
Sorry, I have no comment. Maybe you can ask them.
Well, as far as I know, propaganda movement is not a revolutionary affair. It also includes reforms, which is the equality of the Filipinos and Spanish or Spaniards. That's it. Okay, so
What can you say about the propaganda movement?
It's very useful. Very useful to all Filipino because it's given card to all Filipino and to fight there for their freedom and even in the way of right. I know it about the propaganda.
Thank you for the beautiful answer.
Thank you.
Do you have any idea about the propaganda movement?
Oh, that was in history. I think I have no brain, so let's talk with the other person you know, because I have no knowledge about that. Thank you.
Sige.
Because of the importance of mass media to propagate the propaganda objectives, Graciano Lopez Haina founded a fortnightly newspaper which is the La Solidaridad. In Barcelona on February 15, 1889 to October 31, 1889, after which it was moved to Madrid. Despite its political spirit, the propaganda movement produced certain meritorious literary works which contributed to the blossoming of Filipino literature. It gave birth to the first Filipino novel, Ninay, which was written by Dr. Pedro A. Paterno, Doctor of Laws and Man of Letters, melodious poem Sampaguitas at Madrid on 1880, and a historical book, La Antigua Civilization Tagalog at Madrid on 1887. New organization was born, which is the Liga Filipina. The motto of the Liga Filipina was Unus in Strat Omnium, or one like all. The officers were as follows: Ambrosio Salvador, which is the president; Agustin de la Rosa, which is the fiscal; Bonifacio Arevalo, which is the treasurer; and Deodato Arellano, which is the secretary. Among the members were Andres Bonifacio, Apolinario Mabini, Mamerto Natividad, Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista, Moises Salvador, Jose A. Dizon, Domingo Franco, Timoteo Paez, Arcadio del Rosario, Numeriano Andriano, Timoteo Lanusa, and Doroteo Onjunco. 3 days after the founding of Liga Filipina, Rechel was arrested by order of Governor-General Despiol. On July 14, 1892, Rechel was exiled to Dapitan, Mindanao until 1896. Andres Bonifacio believed that the happiness and welfare of Filipino people could not be achieved by peaceful requests for reforms, but by violent revolution. At first, the Katipunan was purely an association for men. Due to the women were becoming suspicious of absence of their husbands and reduction of their earnings, the door of Katipunan were opened to them. On April 10, 1895, Bonifacio and his companions entered the cave of Bernardo Carpio, where they held a secret session. Aurelio Tolentino picked up a piece of charcoal and wrote on the cave wall, "Viva la Independencia Filipina." This was the first cry of Philippine independence in Philippine history. By the middle of 1896, the Katipunan was preparing to strike for freedom, but on August 19, 1896, the Katipunan was finally discovered by the Spanish authorities. The forces of Spanish law pounced upon the homes of the suspects and locked them up in jail. Those who were warned in time, notably Bonifacio, Jacinto, and others, fled into hiding. Through the dark hours of the night, many Filipino families in the city prayed and awaited, in suspense, the red dawn of the following day. Such was the situation in the Philippines at the dawn of Sunday, August 13, 1896, Bonifacio, leading his ragtag army of poorly armed and untrained Katipuneros, rashly attacked the polvorín of San Juan. It was woefully an unequal combat, Spanish artillery and modern rifles against Filipino bolas, bamboos, spears, and some old firearms.